On the first night of the NBA draft, the Lakers avoid the drama and do the right thing. USC's Isaiah Collier falls out of the lottery, but might have landed in a good spot. And despite what you hear, it's going to be very difficult for the Clippers to sign and trade Paul George. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city of the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. And so it is June 27th, 2024. I'll be heading back home later tonight. Surprisingly enough, not looking forward to it because there might be drama. But you know what always lifts us up in times of turmoil? LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, look at the scoreboard. Dodgers 4, White Sox 0. Complete sweep of one of the worst teams in baseball. Could have easily seen it coming. Gavin Stone pitches a 4-hit shutout to improve to 9-2. Shohei Ohtani homers again. He has 25. Today, there aren't any games involving LA teams. So if you want to spend the entire day pondering the future of Bronny James, be my guest. But what do you say we get to the news? Starting off with the NBA draft, yes, Bronny James was in fact available. And I don't know why my voice is cracking, but he was in fact available when the Lakers picked at 17 last night. There it was for the taking. Something that would cement the return of King James, because it would be father and son, like Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr., only in this case with pointless man drama. Ick. But the Lakers did not look to Bronny James. For that matter, they didn't do what I was suggesting they do and try to land a big player to take pressure off of Anthony Davis eventually. But here's the thing. I don't always have to be right. I think of myself as a relatively intelligent guy, but I'm not in the prediction game. I'm not in the hot take game. I do not always have to be right. There is a very crystal clear argument that the Lakers did the right thing last night in drafting shooting guard Dalton Knecht of Tennessee. Now, don't get me wrong, in the background, you could see Stephen A. Smith being dragged off the set for ESPN, being injected with a sedative. His last words were, "We told them to take Bronny. Why didn't they take Bronny?" Now, Knecht, like Isaiah Collier of USC, was projected to be a lottery pick. He fell out. Knecht was projected as recently as 2 days ago as going as high as number 6. He falls to 17. Knecht is a big-time sharpshooter, a catch-and-shoot guy as well, considered by some to be the best pure scorer in the class. And he falls to 17. Now, I will grant you, the reason he fell to 17 is he's going to be a defensive liability. But when you consider how every Lakers coach since Phil Jackson has been begging for more outside shooting to complement Anthony Davis in the post or to complement James stampeding to the basket, this pick is tremendous. They're very fortunate that Knecht fell to them at 17. Now, the clips that I have seen of Knecht playing make him ideal in the sense that if you have Davis and James working a little two-man game on one side of the court, you could run a little backdoor screen with Knecht on the other side of the court. He will be open. He can catch the quick pass from James and shoot it effectively. But I have to tell you, one thing that I found in all the reviews of Knecht that's pretty funny. Analysts are like, oh my God, they're coached by J.J. Redick and they drafted somebody like J.J. Redick. Which is probably so. But I'll tell you something, Knecht would have fit perfectly into the offense of UConn coach Dan Hurley, who rebuffed the Lakers gig. Now, you could argue that if there is a trade to be made to boost the roster, maybe this makes Austin Reeves actually a little expendable. And I bring that up because people online have been exclaiming, you could see these memes online. Oh my gosh, Reeves and Necht, they're going to make such a great shooting tandem. First of all, you don't know that. And by the way, they're the same player. This is not like, say, a small forward who can catch and shoot matched up with a shooting guard. Reeves and Necht are shooting guards. They are the same player. So no, this is not exactly the Splash Brothers reborn. If the Lakers, by the way, we hear this all the time, the Lakers want to go add a third star. What does every other team ask for in terms of a trade? They ask for Austin Reeves. So this isn't a pairing yet. It's possible that Austin Reeves is expendable now, but it's still a hell of a pick. Meanwhile, we were talking yesterday about how it's not a good idea to drop F-bombs in your introductory press conferences. After all, you're trying to make a first impression. Your first impression should not be obscenities. You should learn that if you decide to go and meet your girlfriend's parents. But here's another reason. A spokesman for new Lakers coach J.J. Redick is denying reports that suggest in addition to F-bombs, he also drops N-bombs. Duke alum Halima Nash tweeted, quote, "I've only been called the N-word to my face by a white man once in my life, and it was on the campus of Duke University while I was doing work with the basketball team, and today he was named the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a world," unquote. Now, I've made no secret that I don't like the hire of J.J. Redick, but let me tell you something. There is a long way to go before I say, you know what, I don't think he's going to make a good coach, to, yeah, he's a blithering racist. There are miles to go for that leap, and I'm not going to make it. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea. It's he said, she said. And by the way, he hasn't even said yet. It's a spokesman. I don't know if it's true. But I would say that that means that it makes it even more imperative that you come off as much of a gentleman as you can when you're supposed to be a team leader. Former ESPN scribe and current solo artist Mark Stein is reporting the Lakers want to talk with former head coaches Jacques Vaughn and Dwayne Casey to serve as assistants under Redick. And also regarding the draft, the Lakers do have a pick tonight. They choose at 55, barring a trade. There was only one local collegian selected, and it must have been a profound disappointment for Isaiah Collier of USC, who is seen as a strong candidate to be taken in the lottery. The poor guy slid all the way to 29th, where Utah grabbed him. Now, Collier is still the 9th first-round pick for USC since 2009, which is extremely impressive. You don't think of the Trojans as an NBA factory, and yet there they are, cranking out one NBA-ready player after another. If the Jazz, by the way, still like to run a motion offense, they were the masters of the pick and roll, for example, for decades, Collier could wind up being a starter really quickly. His passing is his elite skill, mixed in with a little bit of bully ball. He likes to charge the lane. But he fell to 29 for a reason. He's not a finished prospect, a finished product. How could you be after 1 year of college, right? But Collier, in my opinion, fell way too far. This pick was a no-brainer for Utah, especially because the Jazz are considered in desperate need of a point guard. As for the other local collegians still available for the second round are obviously Bronny James and Boogie Ellis of USC, along with Adam Bona of UCLA. The Clippers did not have a pick last night. They have the 46th overall selection, obviously tonight. In the meantime, they still haven't made progress on a new contract for Paul George. In a break from their normal mode of reporting, though, ESPN's Brian Windbag is saying, quote, "People have told him," unquote, that teams are willing to give George a 4-year contract in a sign and trade. Are they actual NBA sources? Windbag wasn't precise, but he did say people have told him. Hopefully it's not the guy behind the counter. at your run-of-the-mill White Castle. Now, one of those teams supposedly willing to offer a 4-year contract in a sign and trade is Golden State, but we talked about it. I don't buy it. I don't. And there's reasons to believe it's not going to happen. It's going to be extremely difficult. Golden State ownership said they wanted to get under the luxury tax, for example. Doing so means either you clip Chris Paul or you let Klay Thompson walk. Sign and trades for the Warriors are right now prohibited because they are over the so-called first apron of the salary cap. You can't do a sign and trade now anymore when you're there. And by the way, Golden State would prefer to keep Klay Thompson. You can't do that and simultaneously add Paul George. At least not from anything I've been looking at. Pro Football Focus, or PIF, is not sanguine about the Rams' defensive line without Aaron Donald. Quote, beyond the obvious impact that he brought with his production, they will experience life without every offense they face, specifically game planning for him every week. What does that look like when the attention usually reserved for Donald is shared around the rest of the line more equitably? Kobe Turner was phenomenal in the second half of his rookie season, and the Rams are now absolutely loaded with youth up front. But that means inexperience and uncertainty too, unquote. Normally, I really like PIF. They tell us things we don't know. But in this case, they told us something we absolutely knew. We've been talking about it for months. Thank you for very little. Shohei Ohtani. He hit ball far. He's strong. Strong like bull. Matter of fact, there are multiple reports about Ohtani and if he will join the annual home run derby. Dave Roberts, for his part, not a fan. Quote, for the game, I think it's great. For the workload part of it, I'd probably not want him to do it, unquote. For that matter, coach, manager, doc, I don't want him doing it either. For the same reason. I know where you're going. Does anybody remember this guy had Tommy John surgery last year? I mean, sure, it's okay for him to swing the bat, but why risk extra power hitting swings when you don't have to? Said Roberts, quote, I don't ever want to be the guy that says you can't do it because I wouldn't want somebody to tell me I couldn't do it. But the surgery adds a different component, unquote. Teoscar Hernandez, by the way, returned to the Dodgers yesterday, and to make sure that there is not going to be any gross rumors about why he needed personal time away, he told the press his grandfather died. Hernandez spent 18 hours on a plane round trip to see his grandfather one last time. The man was 94. My condolences. Seems like only last week we were bemoaning how the USC football program had bad luck with recruits from Georgia. They lost 2 defensive recruits last week, and then Lincoln Riley shrugged and said, we're going to do it again anyway. Despite having lost 2 elite defensive line recruits from Georgia last week, the Trojans have added a defensive back to the class of 2025. Shamar Arnaud of, you guessed it, Georgia, has committed. He is a 4-star recruit, not too shabby, previously committed to Tennessee. He is 6'2", by the way, and this goes in line with USC seeking bigger cornerbacks for pass defense. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. What do you think about the Lakers and what their next step could be now that they've got a shooting guard? Are you okay with Isaiah Collier being in the land of the Latter-day Saints? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Portel Queso production. Take care.